Welcome to another episode of Can You Reach That?
Can you reach that?
With your hosts, Tango and Coop.
What's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. Trying to enjoy another day, another dollar.
Oh, I like dollars.
Yeah, dollars are good, right? How's your trip? You just got back from a trip, right?
Yeah. Did a business trip to Colorado. Was in Castle Rock, Colorado.
Castle Rock.
Lots of where I went. There was lots of fields, buffalo, various wildlife, donkeys, cows, just walking around.
Oh, so you felt right at home then, huh?
Donkeys.
Can you reach that? You see that? Let's talk about it. Be that. Believe that. Let the people know that we see that and what they want to know. Can you reach that? Can you reach that? Now your host, Tango and Coop.
Yeah, man. I mean, I felt as dude, like driving at night, it was dark. I mean, like you couldn't see your head in front of your face.
Pitch black.
I mean,
so very little or no light pollution?
None. We were out there. But no, it was nice. People were great. I mean, I had a great time out there. Good experience. So nothing like a little business trip, I guess, to get away. So man.
Spend any time looking out at the night sky?
You do see the stars a lot more vibrant when there's no light pollution. So it wasn't entirely bad, but
it's different. If you've never been out of the city and seen the stars at night, like it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, indeed.
No, but
it was a good trip, man. I enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, the people out there were real cool. It was just a great experience. I mean, I will say though, being a tall person, as you know, we walk at a pretty brisk pace. Mm-hmm. Our strides are pretty long. Mm-hmm. Man, I was getting winded. I had to learn to slow down because that air is thin at that altitude, boy. You're sitting at, a little over 7,000 feet above sea level.
It's a little different up there, huh?
Oh, man, that's man. Got off the plane. I started walking, doing my little, my normal pace, and I'm, like, why am I out of breath? Like,
it's like, man, I'm really out of shape.
I was like, did I catch asthma from someone on the plane? Can you catch asthma? No, yeah, obviously. But yeah, I was just like, man, that was in the whole experience, just getting used to that. But
that's crazy.
You become acclimated and you kind of, take those deep breaths.
Yeah.
But at first though, I was like, oh, let me slow down.
Yeah, I don't like that thinness of the air. The whole change in environment for me is
right.
Like I haven't spent too much time in the mountains, but that lack of oxygen, if you will, up there,
right, completely
makes it.
I remember the first time I went to a very high altitude place. We were going for the snow. We were going to visit. I forgot. I don't even remember where we're at, but I just remember we were at high altitude. And we were driving in the car, and in a minute I got out the car. Not only because of the thin air, but just the cold. It's just,
oh
man, like that. Like I got out, like, oh, let's go do it, let's go. I started like, oh, like I gotta get used to this. Like this isn't cool. I literally had to sit back down and like, catch myself. But wasn't quite that bad in Denver or in Denver. I was in Denver as well, but in Castle Rock. But yeah, it was. Definitely had to get used to the.
That's crazy.
That thin air, man.
Did you do any sightseeing?
Not really, man. We just
it was just pure business.
Just pure business.
Yeah.
I mean, I went up, a couple places here and there, but I mean, I've been out there before. My uncle stays in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
So I've been out there, and I've visited, Garden of the Gods, and
oh yeah, beautiful,
Cave of the Winds,
place.
And I've been to Pikes Peak, which again high altitudes, right? Let's go to 14,000.
Let's go higher. Let's go even higher. Like breathing isn't hard enough down here.
So, but no, I mean, Colorado's just an overall beautiful place. I mean, it's just it's not LA, it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah, I imagine.
So, but yeah, I mean,
I've been out there.
I was ready to be back home. That's for sure.
Yeah, I visited once. I've been out there twice.
To Colorado.
I went to Colorado Springs. I don't remember where I was the first time. First time I went, it was when I was in the military. I used to be on the color guard. It's like a requirement if you're anywhere between like 6'1" and 6'4", it was an automatic.
Right.
Voluntold is how we like to describe
Right.
it. As soon as I checked
I know
in,
Colorado Springs is a pretty it's a military town,
friendly.
so,
yeah. As soon as I checked in, my sergeant major was like, "How tall are you?"
That's it.
I'm like, 6'4". He was like, "I need you to call Sergeant so and so. Like, you're gonna be on the color guard." And I'm like, okay.
Done.
But it was cool though, cause like it's. I got to go to a lot of places. I got to see a lot of things. A lot of people showed a lot of appreciation, did a lot of parades and stuff like that. But we got to fly on. It was the Colonel's jet, so it was like a little private prop plane. I can't remember I want to say it was like a C-35 or something like that. I remember what it was.
So definitely got a little experience that a lot of others wouldn't have got.
Yeah,
So that's dope.
But definitely felt like I was on my Richie Valens shit, flying over the mountains, in a tiny prop plane, like a 12-passenger plane kind of thing.
Right.
But it was cool, So I got to go there then, and that was years ago. But then I went back. Dang. I say recently, but it was around 8-10 years ago. I went to Colorado Springs and got to visit, like you said, the Cave of the Winds.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool tour going through there.
It was nice. It was nice seeing all that stuff. I didn't do Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak is nice. Pikes Peak, it's you ride up the little cog train and
yeah.
It's.
But it was cool.
They have races.
Like to go back.
They have races where they race down or up or down that hill.
They have races.
I mean, it's like
races. Oh.
Actually, the latter probably not so much. No, but they race up that mountain, man, and like the road is not that wide, and it's just you're just over the side. But they They have races, man. Like you can.
Yeah.
And they have racists. No, just kidding. No.
Oh no. Will I be welcome? No, I'm kidding.
I think you would. I mean, especially I think Colorado Springs. I mean, where my uncle's at. I mean, I remember being out there and seeing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's not L.A. Don't get me wrong.
It's Colorado, so if you're, I think weed is the universal language of Colorado right now.
Right.
Yeah, I think weed takes precedence over race.
Yeah.
Oh, you smoke?
Sit down.
You're okay in my book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely a big pothead. So.
I wanted to ask you, man, because I know we're both fans of Martin. Did you see the story? About the prequel that they want to do.
I heard a dramatic prequel.
So I when I first saw it, I saw that they wanted to do a drama version of Martin, and that's all I had initially seen, and I was like, so are they trying to bank off the Bel Air? Bel Air wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was an insane success, but it was successful. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the nostalgia. They referenced all the episodes, and it was a dramatic version of the episodes that we grew up watching.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, do you really want that with Martin? And I was kind of like, this feels forced. But then I read that it was a prequel, and that it was going to be Martin before he was, Martin, before Gina, before all that. So it's going to be him like literally out of high school into adulthood. So now I'm kind of like intrigued. Like this could be something that you might be able to see a lot of, how he meets Tommy and Cole, like. Or is he already friends with them from? You know what I mean? Like
did they go back?
You get that whole origins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at some point they have to tie all that together. But I was just curious, like, what are your thoughts? What do you think about that if that becomes a thing?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, just any reprise that they're doing where they change the tone of what the original was, I think is a good approach to do something. The Fresh Prince, I really enjoyed the dramatic version of the Fresh Prince.
Right.
I think I don't know the name of the artist, but like he did a great job as the Will Smith character.
Right.
Like. Even though the Carlton character was 180 out,
right, way out, yeah,
from the TV series Carlton, but at the same time, still not, like
he had to hit that
he
dance.
Was definitely, he was definitely
hit the Carlton.
He didn't hit the dance.
He got to hit the Carlton.
He was doing that nose candy dance.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I think it would have been interesting to see them do Martin in a dramatic tone.
Right.
But I think the prequel will be interesting. It'll
like
be definitely be interesting to see how, yeah.
And I'm sure there'll have to be some comedic undertone to it, to a certain degree, right?
I should hope so, because Martin was a comedian, a clown in the show.
Like with Bel Air, for example. I mean, I remember when, and I don't remember, to be honest with you, I don't remember his name. But I remember when they dropped that trailer as just a trailer. It wasn't a show. It was just a trailer that they had filmed.
Yeah.
It was like a project or something like that. And it went viral, like crazy viral. And the fact that Will Smith saw it and was like, no, like, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so dope, like, that it came to fruition, because it ended up being like a good show.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, watching it and seeing episodes that we knew and seeing the references from said episodes. And dramatic.
When it tied back in, I was like, oh, there it is.
Right,
there
right.
It is. This is when they threw the party at the house.
Yeah, it always hit those marks. You know, it always hit those marks. There'd be the dramatic story, but it would always hit those marks that you'd be like, oh, there you go. Yeah,
tie it back in. Yeah,
and I'm sure Martin's going to have some references. Being that it's a prequel, it'll probably be some stuff that was referenced in the show about his past that they'll not only use, but then you'll also see some nuances and things like that, you know, maybe some antics that he does.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Like, will we be able to see him? I mean, how far back does it go, and how far forward into his timeline does it go? Do we get to see him get his job at the radio station?
Right. Well, it seems from what I read, it seems to be like transitioning from like that, you know, fresh out of high school to adulthood, like teenager to adulthood type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing it's going to be pre-radio. Maybe he's I don't know, maybe he's a high school radio DJ and he's moving on to trying to find a real DJ job.
Yeah.
So maybe they show him bouncing around from job to job. You know, I don't know.
It'll be interesting. But I mean, I always appreciate when they tell the story from a different perspective, from a different tone. Like a lot of the Disney movies, you know, they brought out their, I guess the villains primarily. They were doing the villain stories, you know,
like
Maleficent,
yeah,
and Cruella de Vil.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those stories.
You get those origins. I saw that there's one with Ariana Grande where they're doing The Wizard of Oz. And it's called Wizards, and she's Glinda, and there's another actress who is the Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
And I guess they show her being bullied, and you know, even
like her origin story.
Yeah, and it's kind of like their origins, and then I guess I don't know. There looks like there's some sympathy at some point or some guilt towards the Wicked Witch because she's being bullied by Glinda and whatnot. So I don't know, but I saw the trailer, and I'm like, there's another, you know, villainous type origin story I guess coming. So I don't know if you've seen that trailer.
I've seen it. It'll be interesting to see that one. I'm looking forward to it. Again, you know, like they're taking they're giving the other side of the story, you know.
I feel like it's kind of a trend right now where they're kind of grabbing movies and TV shows that were either moderately or very successful, and they're trying to figure out ways to pull a piece of it out and like either prequel, origins, or some sort of a spinoff.
Yeah.
You know, that not that Hollywood doesn't have originality, but it feels like they're struggling right now. So they're reaching into the back pockets of success and trying to pull something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing movies for a long time, so it's I can only imagine how much more difficult it is to come up with new ideas. Because I mean, what haven't we covered? I mean, let's look at the Marvel universe. Like, we've gone into a multiverse genre. It's not even just planet Earth anymore. Now it's planet Earth in what universe that we can be on. So basically, everything that's happened throughout the whole Marvel universe that we've seen.
And see, now
Iron Man dying.
Now we have
Black
Captain
Widow
America.
Now we got a black Captain America. I mean, who saw that coming?
Well, there's the Brave New World, and it has Red Hulk. So they're bringing Red Hulk into the picture, and you know, I guess that's the thing now. They're going to start bringing the sub-variants of various characters.
Of the other characters.
Because there's a multiverse, I guess they're able to do a lot of...
So it's like anybody can come back.
Not that Red Hulk is not a sub-variant of Hulk per se, because they're different people that, you know, different person becomes Red Hulk. But nonetheless, it's kind of like...
Yeah.
You can almost do whatever you want when you have time travel or multiverses.
Yeah, time travel was one thing, but with that, you knew there was going to be some changes to the timeline.
Indeed.
With multiverse travel, it's anything is possible, because on one planet, you know, it could be opposite. On one planet, it could be Planet of the Apes. Like, there could be an ape Captain America somewhere on Earth 74 or something.
Well, didn't they kind of cover that a little bit in Loki? In the series Loki.
They did.
Remember?
They
I mean, there was the alligator Loki, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean,
They had a black Loki, you know, which could only happen in the multiverse.
My cat's name is Loki, so maybe...
Black Spider-Man. Black Spider-Man, which could only happen in animation.
They should... Now, see, there's a character that I would love them to bring. I know they did in the last Spider-Man, they had the Tobey Maguire. You know, they had the 3 Spider-Mans, and that's cool, but it would have been kind of dope to bring the Miles Morales character to the live action. You know what I mean? Just don't get me wrong. That both of those movies were probably some of my favorite animated films ever. Just the style of it.
Yeah.
But the writing was like so good.
They were good.
So
I don't know. I feel like it would be a struggle. Well, one, I think they could get away with it because he is Miles Morales.
Right.
So even though it's a fictional character, I know there are a lot of people who feel some kind of way about them changing the race of Spider-Man, which is why I feel in one facet that they did the animated version first, because I feel like that's really the only way that they would accept. Like in the animation, anything is possible, you know? Like Spider-Man, nobody bats an eye over, oh, that's funny, that's cute. Black Spider-Man, wait a minute, hold on.
Wait, did you reference Spider-Pig in The Simpsons?
Spider-Pig. Well, I was actually referencing Spider-Pig in...
I'm just...
But yeah, he had his cameo way early on, you know?
Spider-Pig?
Right?
Spider-Pig.
Yeah, that was classic.
No, I mean, I agree. I think Miles Morales, aside from him being in the animated, obviously he was in the PS5 games as well, PS4 and PS5. But I think the character is wildly established at this point, to the point where nobody should be shocked.
Should be, but you know what world we live in now.
This is facts, but I'm for it. I'm ready to see it. I want to see him come to the live action. I wouldn't. They have the multiverse. They have the time travel. They have all this shit going on.
Yeah, they can do it.
In the video game, you know, Miles Morales and Peter Parker coexist in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just kind of like, let's do a Miles Morales Spider-Man and have both Spider-Mans.
Got a whole network of Spider-Mans.
You know what I'm saying? Like let's make it happen. I mean,
yeah.
That's the way I'd like to see it.
That'd be cool.
So, and you know, and going on the, I know we were talking about prequels and bringing the old back. There's a very popular group, I don't know if you saw, that is reuniting for a new album.
Bone Thugs?
I don't know if they're reuniting, because I don't know if they broke up, but but no, by the name of the Fugees.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
So
I'm looking forward to that. It'll be good.
I'm kind of all in. I want to see the Fugees do something.
Be interesting to see what they can come up with. Have you been to a Lauryn Hill concert before?
No. I've, you know, being that the Fugees were out when we were younger, I wasn't going to shows as much like that. Mm-hmm. But the Fugees as a whole is something that I would love to just see, that whole dynamic live. I just feel like it would be a very entertaining show. But even Lauryn Hill, you know, with her album, I mean, never got to see her perform live, only on, you know, recordings and whatnot.
Yeah, it was.
You've been? I've
been. Got to go with wifey at the Hollywood Bowl. We went. It was her and Nas.
Oh, nice.
So it was a good show. It was dope to see her, but it was not what I expected, because I'm expecting to hear songs off of Miseducation Lauryn Hill,
right?
You know, in the way that we know them. And she did do the songs, but she did them completely different. Like they sounded unrecognizable.
Like bad vocals?
At some points. Not even bad, just different. Like the cadence was different.
Oh.
Her tone was different. The melodies were different. Because it's all a live band, too.
For sure.
So, you know, I know they have artistic interpretation to do and everything like that. But it was like there were sometimes, a lot of times, where I'm halfway into the song before I realize what song it is.
Oh,
like
so were they like,
it sounded that
they're
different.
like kind of reinventing the song, like
basically.
The music and everything was just kind of not this. It wasn't the same, because even live band, you can still tell
when it's a song,
what song it is by the melody and whatever. So you weren't even able to tell, like, because they kind of reinvented it and she sang it a different way.
Completely.
Wow.
And it had me wondering, you know, was it by design? Are there some reasons that she can't do the songs originally? Was she not doing them originally under a protest or something? You know, because she's only had the one album,
right?
Which was kind of surprising.
And record labels are crazy like that, so there could be some sort of contractual obligations or
where she's not allowed to do the,
you know, restrictions, I should say. That
but it was crazy. So I've seen her twice. Both times it was, you know, the first time I was like, you know, maybe it was a fluke. Let's go
again,
try it again and see, you know, same thing. So
now the question I guess I have now is, was the first time the same reinventions as the second time, or was it different again?
I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I just know it wasn't the originals. So it's weird. It's weird for me, because when I do see her doing a show, because I saw she was doing a show and it was gonna have at least Wyclef. I don't know if it was not Wyclef and Pros there.
Right.
It was gonna be her and special guest Wyclef, and I was tempted to get tickets to go see it, but then it's like, yeah, but I want to hear Lauryn Hill the way that I remember Lauryn Hill.
Right.
Will she be able to do that with Wyclef there? I don't know.
Right.
Will it be the same thing? I don't know. But yeah, if the Fugees, if they're dropping a new album, if they're putting this together and they happen to do a concert, I'm definitely gonna try to go and see that.
Because I feel like if they do a concert with the promotion under the promotion of this new album that they're either working on or already worked on, I feel like you're gonna get that, but you're also gonna get some of that nostalgic.
I hope so. Yeah, they do a little bit of new and a little bit of old.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
It'd be dope. But I just feel like it would be just just a crazy entertaining show. I mean, as far as live bands and music is concerned, I mean, top of my list is the Roots. I mean, I've seen the Roots live once, and I wish I see them again. I need to see them again because it blew my mind how not only entertaining they were, but they're just so.
All I hear in my head is Eminem. Look at your boots; they're starting to grow roots.
No, but like the Roots when they play, man. Aside from Black Thought being one of my, we've talked about one of my top MCs. I feel like he gets overlooked a lot when people make their lists. Maybe because he's a member of a group and they don't single him out as an artist, but just lyrically, he's just so natural. He comes off he knows how to adjust on the fly, and the band itself is just so. Effortless is for lack of better terms, like they're just they're just so effortless, and it just rolls. I love it. I love their shows. So if the Fugees have a band and they're doing something similar like that, like I feel like their entertainment value is high anyway. So hopefully they're not reinventing what I didn't experience that, but I know I feel like I'd be like you. I'd be a little bit let down or disappointed because you're expecting to see a certain show.
You're expecting to hear certain songs.
Yeah,
like when Nas,
I don't mind a surprise.
Yeah,
but
give me something
give me something that I know.
Like Nas when he did his, like the second you start hearing a beat, was all off rip.
And it was the same band doing his sets.
No, I think he had a different band. I think he had a different.
Okay.
Yeah, his own. He had his own musicians there.
Got you.
But overall, it was a good show. We had a good time.
Right.
It was
Hollywood Bowl acoustics.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
That's great. I like the open air.
Yeah.
Out in the hills, it's nice and cool up there.
Just when you leave that,
leaving is a pain. Yeah, leaving is a pain.
Just because of where it's at, it's just
it's crazy.
Kind of one way in, one way out.
It's crazy to get out of there.
So, but no, yeah, I'm all for a new Fugees thing. I mean, what other groups would you, or not even groups, what other artists did you listen to that you don't necessarily hear a lot of new stuff anymore that you would love to see just all of a sudden come out with some new stuff? Like a new album, like you want a new album from who?
It's interesting because I feel a couple ways about it. One, I would love to see artists from our era. And when I say our era, I guess I'm going to go with the 90s. I would love to see 90s artists dropping new music today.
Right.
Which there are a couple that are out here doing it.
Right.
Snoop and Daz and them are putting out music. Eminem just dropped his album.
For sure.
Even though he's not 90s. He's right on that. 'Cause he's early 2000s.
Right.
Eminem is. But definitely artists that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
So name an artist that hasn't dropped an album in a long time.
That I would like to hear something from?
If he's surprised with an album and he's like, hey, I'm dropping an album next month, like, would you be excited for?
Tash from the Alcoholics.
Okay.
Or even the Alcoholics in general.
Right.
But Tash would be a good one. But the thing about it is, one thing that I would also like to see is I don't want to, as nice as it would be to hear them rapping about the same old shit that they were rapping about, I don't want to hear a 50-year-old dude rapping about street shit.
You want to hear that growth?
I want to hear a little bit of growth. He ain't got to be rapping about 401ks and grandkids, but and honestly, I would say the best example that I can think of, or at least off the top of my head, is Jay-Z. I would like to see some mature music coming from mature people.
Right.
Like Jay-Z's music has evolved with him over time. He did his street shit. He did his player shit. But the older that he got, you know, he even has songs. You know, I'm old enough to know which car to buy, or young enough to know which car to buy, but old enough to know not to put rims on it. You know, it's like his music matured as he matured. When he did the 444 album, which I was late, I was extremely late finding out about the four. I didn't listen to that album until like 2020.
Oh wow,
Wifey put me onto it, and when I heard it, that she was like, "Dude, again, can you put your headphones on, please?" Because I'm like, "No, but this album is dope. Like, oh, I can't believe like this is I'm all about this. You know, financial freedom, our only hope. Fuck being rich. Fuck living rich and dying broke." I was like, "Yo, this man is."
For me, I think, and this artist that I'm about to name, he has dropped like social media. He's done like little freestyles, and he actually has been a lot of things where he's been like, you remember Jacking for Beats? So it's kind of like he's been doing some stuff like that where he'll take a beat and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm about to get you next," and, you know, and he's not dissing the artist; he's just taking the beat.
The beat, yeah.
And he does. So he's been doing that currently, but an album would be dope from him, and that's Redman, man. Good old Reggie Noble.
Redman would be dope, yeah.
Like a Redman album, or even, you know, if they want to get the crew back, let's do Meth and Red together, you know?
Yeah, that would be dope to see them together. I've seen them perform a couple times too.
I've seen them perform live too, and they're
great,
crazy entertaining. I saw there was a video where I guess they weren't getting the crowd react the way they normally would at one of those shows. I think it was like a summer jam or something.
Yeah,
and they were like, "We're not doing these no more because these kids they're not hearing us right."
It's different,
you know? and I get that, but man.
It's different. It's like how do you expect a generation who, I don't want to say is unfamiliar with you,
right?
But like we listen to the people that they're listening to now. I'm sure that they will go hype over. But like we listen to them in our teens, in our early 20s,
right?
So as we were developing our sense of music, as we were finding music, like these are the people that we listen to.
But I feel like our generation, we had our generation of music, but I feel like we also listened to the generation before. Like
that was partially under duress because there's only one radio in the house, and 9 times out of 9, the parents
right, true,
were the ones controlling it. So, you know, if it's Saturday morning and we're cleaning up, it's mom's playlist, it's dad's playlist, it's not you.
For me, it's like anything else. Like I want to know where stuff comes from. So like I like listening to music in general, all genres for that matter, for the most part. Like I like it, but like I want, you know, it's like I feel like the newer generations, they just want whatever is now, and they just don't care where it came from, where it evolved from, where, you know, where the movement came from. So
it's different times. Again,
but Meth and Red hitting the stage to me is like young, old, whatever. Like just like open your ears and open your eyes, watch what they're doing, listen to what they're saying, and just appreciate it. I feel like don't just put your head down, man. Like Red and Meth, I've seen them perform live a bunch, probably like 2 or 3 times now. The entertainment value is so through the roof.
Yeah, they're dope. But again, you know, we have a connection to them. We have because I mean, it's just, if you go to a Travis Scott concert, like they go hard for Travis Scott,
right?
Because they grew up listening to Travis Scott. Any music for the average person, your teenage years, for the most part, are when you start developing your own personal music taste.
For sure.
Prior to that, you're listening to what other people have on.
Right.
You know, when you're in the car, your parents are picking the radio station, or whoever is driving is picking the radio station. Once you start hitting those teenage years and you start getting a little bit of independence, you start stumbling across music on your own. Back when we did it, there wasn't a lot of channels for us to discover new music.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
well, I mean, when we were listening to music, we had to wait through some songs that we didn't like to get to the songs that we wanted to hear, because there was no skipping. It was whatever played.
We were at the mercy of whatever was being played, and you'd have to sit there with your ear always perked up, listening to find your favorite song so you can record it onto your tape without hoping that the DJ wasn't doing too much ad libs at the front end or the back end.
Right.
Because it's like I want the whole song. Like, stop talking over the track.
Like I'm trying to record.
Stop talking over the track, Theo.
Theo. 92 to
like,
beat.
give me the song. Like, we don't. But it's like now, you know, one, the gift and the curse, you know, because anybody and everybody has access to drop music.
Right.
The channels of distribution are damn near endless right now. So the only way that a large population of people all identify or fall in love or are aware of the same music is still through the mainstream channels. Somebody has to push it.
Right.
Not like us, for example, you know, that took over internationally.
For sure.
And that had to do a lot with mainstream attention. The second that mainstream catches onto it, it turns it into a whole different beast. And you know, I guess Drake is a hot topic to begin with, because I was going to compare it to the Meek Mill beef.
Right.
Any beef that Drake has seems to go mainstream because Drake is a mainstream artist.
Right. It garners a little more attention.
Right. Game is out here dissing people. Nobody really catches on to it.
Right.
Mainstream doesn't push it.
Right.
People know about it. People hear about it.
Right.
But it's not unless the mainstream wants to pick it up and distribute it.
Right. Agreed.
You know.
Agreed.
But on top of that, you know, like anybody can go on anything. You got your Spotify's, you got your Apple Musics, you got your YouTubes, but then you got your SoundCloud, which I would say SoundCloud is more like the underground or entry level at a minimum.
Yeah, it's the new you know, mix straight out your backpack. It's the new mixtape.
Yeah.
Instead of selling out your backpack, you over there just putting on
Putting
SoundCloud.
on SoundCloud.
Sending out links.
That's it. You know, like it's a lot different now than it was before, and I think there's just so much of a selection of music that there's not as much of an attachment to it as it was before. Like before, you had to wait for the CD to drop, then you had to go to the store and you had to buy the CD, and then you had to come home.
Tuesday, new releases.
Right? Open it, fucking tear that plastic off, pull the book out. You know, you get to read the liner notes.
Nothing like
Pop your
having
CD
that
in for the
artwork.
first time and pressing play and hearing that intro. I can tell you one album that sticks out in my head vividly, and there's multiples, but the first one that comes to mind is Dr. Dre's 2001. Where you first pop the CD in and it does that THX surround sound
Right.
intro.
Right.
It's like that is seared into my head. Because one, I always loved that sound, because you put it like that's how I used to test my systems out.
Right.
I get a nice new home stereo system. It's like let me what movie do I have that has that THX sound?
Yeah.
Turn it all the way up. You remember the old I want to say it was like the Maxwell cassette commercial.
Oh, where he was in the chair
dude
and he was
sitting in the couch.
and the
Yeah, and it's
scarf
got all
stuff,
the
yeah.
speakers in front of him. It's
Yep.
like, yo, I want that.
Yep.
I want that.
That's how I
you know?
do like my I call it my theater system. But basically, like, you know, I got my screen and everything, but I always try to keep up on the newly released versions of surround. I mean, there's Dolby Atmos now, so you can have not only do you have your full surround, but you got your over the top. So
yeah.
and I mean, like, I'm a kid in the candy store when I got that good sound. I'm watching that movie and things is flying all
Full
around
surround,
here, things
yeah.
back there and over here on this side. Like, yeah, so,
Walls are rattling and shit.
and then the
man.
crazy thing is, then you throw some music on there and you just like, damn. So
Yeah, I miss it. Being in an apartment, I can't really flex. And granted, it's an old stereo. If you know anything about the Bose lifestyle systems,
right.
it's a Lifestyles 12.
You know, I went out of my way when I was younger. Not only for the car, I did it for the car too, but the house, to get those old Sherwin Vegas.
Oh, not the CVs.
Those you know, the 15s for the house, the big 15-inch. You know, you see them in a lot of TV shows and movies too.
Yeah.
But like with those old Sherwin Vegas, man, you put that on the system and those things just like the bass was crazy.
Oh, man, we used to be about it's so different how times have changed.
Like you said, shake the whole. Like all your neighbors was just like, "What the hell?"
Right.
And we in SoCal, so like they, you know, it makes them a little bit nervous.
Was that a tremor? Was that an aftershock?
But those Sherwin Vegas, man, I remember I had the 12-inch strokers.
Man, the Sherwin Vegas strokers.
Do you remember those?
Yeah, bro. They had the pin in the middle,
yeah.
like it was a reverse speaker because it had
it was on the outside instead.
Yeah.
So those things used to, man, like you talk about potentially shattering windows.
Those were the days.
If you
man.
did it right.
I miss those days, and it's crazy. It's crazy how, and I understand, you know, generational differences and everything, but like during our time, everybody that I knew could not wait to get a license, so they could get a car, so they could put a system in it.
That was all it was.
That was it.
They didn't even care what kind of car it was. You could have a Pinto drop top with
beater
with one wheel, but as long as you could put a system in there.
But I got them kicker solo barracks in the trunk.
Right.
I got them L7s, bro. I got them L7s. Or if you was an audiophile, you had them Infinity Kappas.
Don't forget the Rockford Fosgate punch.
Fosgates, bro. Fosgate
punches. So Fosgates became, I don't know if they sold, but like I remember there was a point where Fosgates actually turned kind of trash.
Yeah, they went commercial.
Yeah, because I remember they were selling them at Best Buy and all that stuff, and they became real like, and they were terrible.
It happens with all of them.
But the OG Fosgates though, them things used to.
Whew. Same thing happened with Audiobahn. Audiobahn, I feel, used to be a good company.
I think Kicker's the only one that kind of stayed in their lane, and they still to this day, Kicker still has some dope stuff.
Yeah, Kicker's a good one. But I remember. MC Breed, Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'.
Right. Classic beat.
That song is the reason I wanted a Kenwood radio. Motorola phone, fat rims, and a Kenwood. So when I got my Kenwood radio, you couldn't tell me shit. Like, got me a Kenwood radio. And not just a Kenwood radio. This is in the era where it was switching from the complete pull-out to just a removable face.
I remember
so
I
had my detachable face, and I had the little case for it. Pop it in the case and have it stick it out my back pocket.
I remember one of the head units I had that always garnered eyes was, you remember I want to say it was an Alpine, the one with the dolphins. The dolphin saber?
On the screen.
Yeah,
that was a game changer.
It was like
that was a game changer.
You look at it now, it looks like trash, but back then it was like, oh, you got dolphins. Where you listen to music and dolphins are swimming?
That was the latest tech. Or Pioneer.
Was it a Pioneer?
Or both of them, maybe.
It was a minute. It's been a minute, man. I'm brain farting on that one, but I remember having that head unit.
But those are the brands. But if you had a Pioneer head unit, if you
Kenwood,
had an Alpine head unit, Kenwood, and then on the B squad there was the Clarions.
I remember the Clarions. Yeah, a lot of people had Clarions. Clarions were the one with the turquoise buttons, right?
Yeah.
I remember a couple people I had some friends with some Clarions.
Clarion was my first slide out double din.
There you go. So you had the
I had
big
the single
one.
din in the dash, and then the screen would come out and
pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, the Clarion. I was like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah, I think my first screen that popped out that played DVDs and whatnot was a Pioneer.
Yeah.
Was a Pioneer. So
now I can't not have a screen in the car. Well, everybody has.
Everybody got a screen in the car now.
Yeah.
And so I mean that's just.
It's all because
that's a given.
It's crazy to see how these auto manufacturers take popular trends from, I guess we can call it the street culture,
right?
Or the consumer culture, whatever you want to call it.
You remember it was like you had screens in the headrest, and you was just you was on.
Yeah.
And now you can get stock cars with screens in the headrest.
Screens in the headrest, yeah, everything.
So
with sound systems now, they sell cars with subwoofers and premium sounds.
And not only that, they're partnered with like Boston Acoustics, which is another brand we hadn't mentioned, but that was another solid brand.
Yeah, but Boston Acoustics was a.
I've seen cars paired with Boston Acoustics and Bose and different, Sony, and all this stuff to, like you said, to increase that sound quality. Because I think the goal now is they don't want you to get a third
do
party.
Anything. Yeah,
they want you to leave it.
Get it from the and just get it from the shop.
And the way they built them in the dash now too. That they're because remember, like you said, it was always single din, double din, din and a half. And it was easily, you could pop it out, replace it with whatever. Now they make them in these unique shapes. They're carved in. So not only if you want to replace it, you're going to have to get some sort of a, they have
kit.
to lay like a whole kit with a custom plate and all this other stuff in order to fit because it's just so different now.
Yeah, everything. They make it so hard for you to be your own mechanic, and like the engine trying to do your own oil change now is crazy.
Yeah, if you're gonna customize the inside and change the rating on that, it's gonna cost you not just because of the price of the head unit, but it's gonna cost you because you're gonna literally have to re-customize your car.
Yeah, and then everything is so computerized now. Like you have to have certain modules. It ain't everything was you just cut off a harness, pop in a new harness.
It was like 3-4 plugs,
and you were good to go.
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, you need a harness to connect to the brain to tell it that it's a new radio so that it doesn't brick it, and it's like.
Yeah, I remember it was probably maybe 10 years ago or something like that. But I remember when I swapped my radio, I had to buy all kinds of stuff just so that the buttons on the steering wheel still worked. Because I also had buttons on the mirrors that did stuff, and in order to make all that stuff still function with the new radio, there was like, it was like another like $400 or $500 in adapters. It was crazy.
Modules after modules after modules. It's wild.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's a change in technology. I mean, It only gets better from here, I guess. Pretty soon you'll just be thinking about stuff, and it'll just tune your radio,
I mean,
you'll think about the playlist, and it'll just start playing your playlist.
We're kind of getting there. You start talking about it, and stuff starts popping up.
Yeah, I mean, my car has, aside from, because I use CarPlay, so aside from being able to control Siri, simultaneously I can control Alexa. So I can have Alexa do stuff through my car that'll affect lights and stuff at my house.
Yeah.
And vice, so it's crazy, So I can tell Alexa at my house, I can tell Alexa to turn my car on, and she'll turn my car on, turn the AC on, and all that other stuff. So it's like, it's nuts, like the stuff that you can do with the technology now.
Yeah. It's I mean, I feel like everything is a gift and a curse. I appreciate technology. I won't say I'm a tech junkie. I'm not,
It's great till the internet goes down.
Yeah. I'm not first in line, I'm not standing in line for a new drop or release or anything like that unless it's convenient for me. But I'm not too far behind. I mean, I've got a Samsung Fold 5, so
I'm real good on pre-orders online, and if I don't get it, I'll get it at some point. I'm not gonna line up no more.
So it's like
lining up for 3 hours, 4 hours, or when I see people on Black Friday and they're like out there, a week before the store opens, I'm like, first and foremost, you're lining up for old products, because most of those products that they're clearing out on Black Friday are 2-3-year-old products that they need to get off those shelves, and that's why they're dirt cheap.
Lining up for the discount.
Like when they're like, oh, there's a 65-inch Sony, I'm like, yeah, and it's probably 60 hertz, and they originally came out in 2017, or 2019. It's like,
shoot, that's all I need.
$200. Like, of course it's $200. They need to get the hell out of the store.
That's all I need. I ain't trying to run.
Oh, not me. Not me.
I ain't trying to run a NASA system off of my TV.
No, the living room has to be massive. I mean, my next TV. So I have an 85-inch, but my next
That's
TV,
crazy.
I think I'm gonna do the short throw projector.
Like a projector?
I believe. I'll do the short throw, the laser projectors.
That'll be cool.
Because you can do up to 150.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going that route next. I'm just waiting for them to just tie in, and they've gotten better lately. But
how long have you had
that latency?
How long have you had the 85? Like what do you remember what year you moved up to an 85? Oh, it's been 2 years. What were you before that? 75?
85. I had an 85.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how long have you had? Like, when?
How long have I had 80? Not just this TV,
not
but
just this, like 85.
So I probably had 85 for maybe like 5 years, 6 years.
Jeez.
Before that, it was 75. For I'm not sure how long.
See, I just bumped up to a 75. I was 55. That would have been 2010-ish. I got my first 55 and probably rocked with a 55 up until, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. See, there's a rule in my house. I won't buy a TV for my bedroom, because the TV in my bedroom is whatever's in the living room when I replace it.
When you get it replaced.
There's a rotation. So
that's kind of how we are.
I got the 85 when I had a 75 in the living room, and I decided to get the 85. 75 goes to the bedroom. Bedroom TV is gone. Either I sell it or I just scrap it, depending on its condition. And so when now that I have the 85 right now, if I do go short throw in the next couple years, I'm just waiting for them to work out some latency, because I like to game. So there's a little bit of latency on the laser projectors that I just don't like.
Yeah,
but
it's got to be responsive.
In the last 4 years, they've cut that down a lot. So I think in another maybe 1 to 2 years, I'll probably end up getting one. And when I do, I'll have 150. I have 150 inch screen out there. But when I do that 85 now goes
doo-doo.
That 85 now goes to the bedroom, which I
Will
have
it
room
fit?
for.
I was gonna say, will it fit?
My room is straight, so it'll be fine. And then that 75, depending on the condition it's at that time, I'll either sell it, get a couple hundred, or I'll just take it to the recycling yard, the electronic recycling. But I mean, that's the rotation. I've never bought a TV for my bedroom, because
just rotate it out.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Although I say that, but we did recently get. I say recently, within the past couple of years, we got a Samsung frame, a 55-inch Samsung frame for the bedroom, which replaced my 55-inch Pioneer that used to be in my living room. That went to the bedroom, and then she had a 65, so that went into the living room.
See, when I had a 65 in the living room and I had a 55 in the bedroom, the reason I went from a 65 to a 75 was because my bedroom TV, the 55, actually ended up stopped working. So rather than buy a TV for the bedroom, I was like, okay, cool. That one goes to the bedroom, buying a new TV for the living room. Because I just don't feel like, I mean, the living room is where I'm going to consume. If I'm going to sit down and watch a movie, I got my surround, I'm going to sit in the living room.
Yeah.
So if I'm buying a new TV, it's going to be for the living room. It's not going to be for the bedroom. The bedroom can have whatever, is available. Like if I absolutely needed a TV, I'd be buying like a Vizio in there, some lower model thing. But I just don't buy TVs for my room. So therefore, whatever's in the living room at the time, if I need a bedroom TV, that goes to and I buy a new living room TV.
Yeah.
But generally that and in this instance now with the short throw, if I do it, bedroom TV is fine. But the 85 in the living room will then be rotated, and I'll just get rid of what I have now. Because I'm not buying a TV for the bedroom.
Yeah, I think we're good for a couple years before we're gonna buy another one.
Get that short throw. Get 150. The whole wall.
Let me get a house first.
I'm trying to play Madden with life-size players, bro.
He out there measuring. He's like, yeah.
I'm trying.
That looks about. Nope, we need bigger.
Like when I'm playing like NBA 2K, like I'm trying to really post these dudes up. Like I'm about
standing on screen with them.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to life size. Like let's get it. Let's play this game.
Yeah, that'll be crazy.
And it's funny too because I remember being younger. I'm a smart ass, so I remember when I got my first. In fact, when I got this 85, I did it. I posted on social media when I got my 85, and I was like, "Look at the quality." And what I put Pong on there, so it's just a white brick on either side of the screen with a little brick going back and forth. Look at the quality of this 4K. I'm just like that. I'm just an asshole.
You're a fucking troll. That's what you are.
Like I got this sweet 85-inch 4K mod. This is dope. Check out these graphics. It's
watching.
Boom.
Watching Ace Ventura on VHS. Like,
hold on. Let me hit that tracking button.
Turn the tracking up. Did you adjust the tracking? You got all those lines, bro.
I got auto tracking. Don't worry about me. I'm balling.
Man,
I got auto tracking.
If you had the auto tracking.
So my clock still ain't set. My clock still ain't set, but I got the auto tracking.
It's a Sony with the auto tracking. You dope. What? And you got the rewinder? Come on now. You're living in the future.
No, I still got the top loader.
You're living in the future.
Remember in middle school the top loader VCR? It was time to watch movies that had the little.
When I think of I remember the top load VCRs, but when I think of top loaders, I think of Beta. I feel like Beta was a top load, and then the primary VCR was the front load. So anytime I see a top load, I'm like, man, you remember Beta?
Betamax?
And it's crazy. I feel like there's always tech wars, if you will,
right,
during certain phases where like a new media is introduced. It was the Beta and the VCR, and then
well, DVD really didn't have any. It was DVD.
No, DVD and I guess that was Blu-ray.
Yeah,
DVD was
Blu-ray and HD DVD.
Well, DVD was a complete shift from cassette.
Yeah, it was from tape to digital media.
Yeah, but Blu-ray and HD DVD.
Right.
I feel like that was the next big competition.
And to be honest with you, I don't know how it was really even perceived by companies when people were literally like fighting for HD DVD. There were certain companies that were we're only going to make movies for this, and other companies were
exclusive.
I think Warner Brothers made them for both for a short time, but when you looked at the facts, like the Blu-ray had a bigger capacity, so you're going to get a better quality everything. So I never understood the question between which is better. Well, Blu-ray was better, and that's why it prevailed. It is what it is.
It's like I can appreciate those diehard enthusiasts who were like.
That's technically, if you get technical with it, that's Sony versus Toshiba.
Yeah. Because
Toshiba was the HD DVD inventor, owner of the media, and Blu-ray was obviously a Sony thing. So that was their little.
I appreciate those enthusiasts who are like all in, like on one or the other, whether they pick their Blu-ray or they pick their HD DVD. But like those HD DVD guys, like they were hardcore. I'm buying my player, and as I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't
$700
I can't buy a player until I see who comes out on top, because one of these guys ain't gonna make it.
Right.
There's no
Right.
place in the market for
Now,
both of
here's
these
the
guys
question,
to exist.
and I don't even know the answer to this, but like, is Betamax, is if you have a player and or some movies on it, is there like a very high value? I mean, I'm sure there's some level of collectability to it, but is it like to the point where you're like, damn, I wish I'd have got one? You know, obviously we were way young, so it would be our parents, but if that's the case and there is some value, I wonder if there's value in holding on to an HD DVD player with some movies. You know what I mean?
I would imagine just on the scarcity of it,
yeah,
would lead to, you know, a high value, but it wouldn't be for like, you know, quality. It ain't like
right.
You know, oh, this was the thing of the time, and you still have one, so it's
you
like
got your great grandkids pulling up. Let me show you something.
Right.
This is what we used to watch our movies on.
Right. Pull out a fucking laser disc.
And right.
Got the whole player, like whole tray slides out. It's like, hold on, put the laser disc on. That was the shortest run of any media that I saw.
The laser disc. Yep.
I appreciate them for what they were trying to do. They were like, oh, because I can see the concept. It was like a record.
Sony did have, I mean, it was more of a music medium, but they had the Sony mini disc for a minute.
That seemed very gimmicky.
And that was, I mean, they tried to release music and albums on that, like for a very, very short time. So I think there's been some medias. I mean, even Sony had the UMD disc, which was used for PSP.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And they put movies and stuff on there. But then most of us was like, wait, but there's a memory stick that you put, you know, the SD card or whatever that you put into the PSP, so you could just go on your computer, put your movies on there and watch them.
Yeah.
And once that became like the norm, they stopped making movies on. They realized that they shouldn't have given you both options.
Yeah.
Kind of fought themselves.
Hey, it's crazy. Everything physical, not just media, but like everything physical is kind of being.
I'm still a
out.
big fan of how, especially with music, yes, but especially movies, like just the cover art and whatnot.
Yeah.
But music too. Like I remember, I mean, opening up a case and it had the lyrics was fire. I remember opening up, Outcast, AT-Aliens?
Yes.
And had the little comic, you know.
Yes.
I mean, just having that artwork, there's something about it, but especially with movies too, just having it and just like you have a library of Blu-rays. That when that internet goes out, I can pop in a disc. I'm good.
And you'll be good. Yeah. It's different. I mean, again, different times, you know. We grew up where, me specifically, I loved when Blu-rays came out, or not even Blu-rays, when DVDs came out.
I mean, you know, you've seen my thing. I've about 6,000 collectively between DVDs and Blu-rays.
Because for me, it was watch. I've always been a huge movie buff as a kid.
For sure.
Like I remember watching. We had Mo Money on VHS, and
classic Damon Wayans.
There was like 3 months where it was just on repeat every day. Like I'm watching it 2-3 times a day.
Yep.
Could recite that memory. Could recite that movie in my sleep.
And the beauty of the digital media was the, you know, the ability to skip chapters.
Yeah, the DVDs.
Because if there was a movie that you just wanted to see an area of the movie, or just you could just
skip through it,
go right through it, rather than having to fast forward the whole thing.
So once I became independent and moved out on my own, and was like, "Ooh, it's time for me to buy," and I got my first paycheck. I say my first paycheck, but like I'm in Japan, I'm in the barracks. I just move in. It's like I need to go get me some entertainment.
PlayStation.
No. Well, I did get a PlayStation.
I know a lot of my military friends as well. They were big on the PlayStation because PlayStation 2 played DVDs.
I got the PlayStation
3,
2.
Same, you know.
I got the PlayStation 2, and I got that late. Like when it comes to gaming, I'm late on all of that because I'm not a big gamer.
Got you.
So like my only reason for having PlayStation now is because when it came time to buy a 3D Blu-ray player.
Right.
The PlayStation was capable.
Right.
And it was literally the 3D Blu-ray player was $350. The PlayStation 3 was $400.
Yeah, you might as well just,
for $50 more.
I can play games
right.
if I want to.
So based on that completely took Xbox out of the running for me. If I was a gamer,
and that was during PS4. That was PS4 or PS3.
No, that was PS3.
So you're talking about PS3 when Blu-ray first came. You're talking about
when 3D DVDs.
Well, 3D Blu-rays.
3D
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
So that was PS3. Yeah, and I think that's what took Blu-ray as a medium over the top. Once people realized PlayStation 3 was coming out, the Blu-ray was already part of the device.
Yeah.
They'd be able to do their games, watch movies. It did 3D, all that stuff. I mean, that was huge.
So that's what got me into it in the first place. And then as far as having games, it was just me trying to have at least one game that I knew was popular. So like a Madden or NBA.
And you're not even a sports guy.
I'm not, it wasn't even for me. It was just somebody comes over and they want to play. It's like, all right, at least I got something. Or a Tekken.
I'm gonna play
or a
some
Street
sports
Fighter.
ball.
You know, if it was me playing, like I was playing Sonic. You know, like, give me some Sonic the Hedgehog and I'm straight. You know, give me some Paperboy.
Said Paperboy.
You know,
damn,
chucking paperboys at mailboxes and chucking papers at mailboxes. The good old days.
Much simpler times,
right?
Kids nowadays will never understand the game over screen because it's infinite respawns.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to see how it's going. It went from that one
you had to try
linear screen to where you just have that. You're just going from left to
well,
right.
I have an arcade machine that has a couple thousand games in it, whatever. And I remember like just watching kids play things like Ghosts and Goblins.
Mm-hmm.
That game was so unnecessarily hard for what it was.
Yeah, I don't even remember that game.
Oh, it was so unnecessarily hard. And when you watch somebody who's younger play it and they die their 3-4 lives, whatever it is, they're like, that's it. I got to start all the way over. Yeah. You have to start all the way over.
Can't save it. You got to leave it on and hope it doesn't freeze on you.
And not just that, even when you die the first time, it's not like you just respawn right where you're at like normal. You
had
back to the beginning of the level.
Beginning. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's different times. And then our PlayStation came out with the memory cards. Like that was a game changer.
Right.
So I would say the first game changer I remember was Contra. When I don't even remember if it was a whole level or if it was like an intermission between a level, but you were playing into the
you went straight. Yeah.
You weren't just going from left to right because most of the game you're going left to right.
Yeah.
But you were looking straight into this. It's like you're going into the TV. I was like, yo, that's Contra. Crazy.
That was the 8-bit attempt at 3D.
Yeah, everybody loved Contra.
So, but yeah, that's gaming, man.
Speaking of movies, I see you got your Globo Gym shirt on.
Oh, gotta represent for the Cobras.
Gotta represent
sometimes.
for the Cobras. How does that shit go? Yeah.
Dodgeball is classic.
Dodgeball was great. I remember.
You'll probably see one of these shows, man. I have the Average Joe shirt too, so I'll probably rock it at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you playing for both teams, huh?
Hey,
gotta watch you.
You gotta follow the money. Global Gym might be paying more at one point. You gotta go back over to the Average Joe's.
No loyalty.
So
yeah,
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Man, I remember seeing that movie for the first time in the movie theater. It was the weekend it released.
I did not catch it in the theater. I caught it on DVD or whatever. But
it was the weekend that it released. I'm on
hilarity
deployment on a little exercise out in Yuma, Arizona. We had a little bit of free time.
I've been there.
It's crazy out there. Had a little bit of free time. Me and a couple of the boys went to go to the movies. They were playing dodgeball. We go to see dodgeball. I literally laughed from beginning. There's very few movies that have me like dying laughing in the movie theater the whole time. Dodgeball was one of them. Everything about that movie.
That movie was funny, dude. Like
everything about that movie had me dying. Another one was Something About Mary.
Oh, that's
classic.
That's more than classic. I saw that in the theaters for sure.
American Pie. That one.
Yep.
That one was just
okay.
You can't make movies like that
Here's an
anymore.
Unpopular opinion. Napoleon Dynamite.
Do you like it? Do you like it now?
So, do I like it now or did I like it?
No, do you like it now?
It's cool. It's all right. I appreciate it.
How long did it take you to appreciate it?
Probably 4 or 5 viewings.
Really?
And probably 2 of those were just accidental. It happened to just be like when I first saw it, everybody was like, "Oh my God, like Napoleon died." And I watched it. I was just like, "All right." So that was a movie. That was my reaction.
2 hours of my life I can't get back.
Right. And then I remember a few years later trying to give it a chance, and because of the years of hype. Watched it again, and I was like, there was a couple parts where I kind of chuckled. I appreciate it a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been many viewings. But if you were to ask me to list a bunch of comedy movies that I enjoy, like I'm not gonna say I wouldn't mention it, but there's a good chance that I probably won't mention it.
That doesn't make the list. That makes the list for me only as a cult
It's
classic.
a cult classic, sort of. But like for me, it has its moments. It's cool, and I know it's unpopular. It's not my It's not my cup of tea.
There's so many movies that I'm putting over.
And I'm good at all kinds of humor. I mean, I get it. It's that dry humor. But there's a lot of other movies that have dry humor that I appreciate a lot more than that one.
Yeah. Like, I'm literally putting... Now you just made me brain fart. I'm literally putting Deuce Bigalow, Mel Gigolo over Napoleon Dynamite.
Right. And, so part of that movie that always resonates is because a lot of it was filmed in Culver City.
Yeah.
When he pulls up, when he goes into the shop to get the snails.
Yeah.
That's right there on Overland.
Yeah.
Like right where we used to pass
right
by
to
go to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's right there at that fish store. And that fish store, I believe, is still there. I haven't been over there in a minute, but yeah, like when I saw that part of it, I was like, because I remember being in the theater watching Deuce Bigalow. I went to the theater, so what? And I remember laughing my ass off at that. It was the second one was okay, but it was a little bit forced.
Yeah.
But the first one to me was hilarious.
First one was great.
So
like I appreciated Rob Schneider then. I don't appreciate him so much now. I've heard a little bit of his opinion, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this guy anymore. But like the biggest. I love. You mentioning that had me thinking about the whole Adam Sandler network. I love that he takes his crew and, offers them positions in whatever movie that he does.
Right.
Because you can go all the way back to Billy Madison.
Right.
You see a Billy Madison movie, and then you see a movie that he just releases now, and it's got the same.
He has his own little universe. I mean, there's movies where he'll bring characters, like sub-characters that were like just, the smallest character in a film, and then he'll bring it to another movie and it's the same character.
Yeah, it works.
So it's almost like he has his own network, his own universe.
He does. I appreciate it. I like that about him. It's something that, like, if I ever get into a realm where I get to do something like that, like, I want to have a core crew of individuals that I tap. Hey, I'm doing this. You guys want to be part of it?
For sure.
You
and
know?
and you've seen how I work. Like, I've kind of done that. Like with what I do. Like, it's like I have my network of people.
What do you do?
And everybody.
No,
I don't remember. No, but I know everybody's talents and specialties and things that they're, so I know who to pull for certain things. Hey, I need you for this. Hey, I need you for that. Hey, we're going to do. So whenever I have something and I know somebody in my circle that does that,
yeah,
I'm constantly like, all right, well, I got a guy. You know what I mean? Somebody will hit me up. Hey, do you know anybody? Yes, I know a guy. And I always keep it in my little circle. I call it my little family network, but it's a friends and family circle that I just keep in. If you need a DJ, I got one. Oh, you need this, I got one. Photographers, got one. Like
I'm gonna get there. I've been, me being in the military, I was doing a lot of traveling, so I have different pockets of circles from all the different areas that I've been in. I oddly enough was a very social butterfly. Well, especially drinking. Like me drunk, I'm a social butterfly like no other. Me sober, you'll find me holding up a wall somewhere,
I have some memories of
we got a couple. We got a couple of events where I've been out. If anybody remembers the Culver get-togethers around the Christmas times,
yes,
I would say
I think I have some footage.
What were they have been? The 2010s?
Probably in and around.
It was the 2010s, yeah.
Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, that era, I was definitely the life of the party. Give me like 12 blue motor scooters, and it's on. That night at Boardwalk 11. That's where it was at.
Yeah,
night,
you were
right?
on the floor.
I was on the floor.
You were on the floor. I do remember.
Not some of my proudest moments. I had a great time though.
Hey, we always
had a blast.
Always had a good time.
I think that was my thing too. Like if I'm out and I'm partying, like I'm trying to make sure people have a good time. And in my mind, I know I had a good time when I was drunk.
Right,
so
right.
I'm like, well, let me just get everybody drunk. Then we'll all have a good time.
Let me show you how this is done.
Right.
So, no, I mean that whole network thing. I mean, I know you know a lot of people that do a lot of things too, and I mean, I'm sure you'll as you build it. I mean, you're in my network when people need when they need people to reach that, they call on us.
Right.
So everywhere.
Tall Boy Association.
I mean, I can't go into a store where I'm not asked.
Happened to me last week.
To reach
I was walking into Costco. Literally, the lady was literally standing there, scanning the crowd,
right,
waiting for a tall person to come in.
I don't know if you've had this too. I've been in stores where you see the person, you see what they're trying to get, and you know they want to ask you, but there's an intimidation factor because you're big.
Because you're tall, yeah.
So they're like very scared. And so like there's two approaches. There's one either to just speak up first and offer to help or just wait it out. And I used to be a speak up first, like offer to help, and break the ice so that they know I'm not some scary giant dude. But some part of me at times, I waited out on purpose just so I can hear the nervousness
of them asking,
and then when they realize that I'm not gonna snap at them, and
yeah.
Although I have turned to people and then when they go, "Excuse me, sir, can you?" What? Like I've done that on purpose. What do you want? And then they like, I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'll get it for you. It's just like.
There's been a couple times where I'll see.
You got to mess with people,
especially if there's like a limited number of the product that they're going for. Like there's one or two left. I'll be like, oh, excuse me, and I'll grab it, like knowing that that's what they're going for.
I've done
my
that.
bad. Let me.
Yes, I've done that too.
Oh, no, I'm just playing.
And I literally put it in my cart and I look them dead in the face. Like I put it in the cart and I just look at them like, what? And then I go, no, and I give it to them. But
it's not my fault. You can't reach that.
Right. I think now what I'm going to start doing though, and it's kind of obvious, but I think now when somebody asks me, because usually it's literally, can you reach that for me?
Yeah.
So when they say, can you reach that? Oh, you're familiar with the podcast?
Turn into a podcast. Oh, you've seen my show.
Oh, you've seen the show.
Nah, I want to start. There's times where, everybody's short to me, so I'm not disparaging short people.
Indeed.
But there are times where, people shorter than me are like, oh, can you grab that off the top shelf for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'll grab it and I'll be like, can you grab that off the bottom shelf for me?
Yes. All the time. I tell people all the time, and I do that now. Like I'll be looking around. I don't even wait for somebody to ask me to reach something up top. I'll be looking around and stuff, and I see what I want on the lower shelf. And if I see somebody short near me or on the same aisle, I'm like, "Excuse me, can you give me a hand?" And they come over, and I'm like, "Can you reach that for me?" And I point way at and they look at me like, asshole. Like,
right. Like it's so weird how
you're closer to that and you can reach it very easily. So what's the difference of that and me being closer to that and reaching it very easily?
Yeah, it's so weird how one end of the spectrum it's disrespectful, but on the other end it's complimentary. Oh, you're so tall. It's like, oh, thank you. You tell somebody they're short and they're like, who the fuck you think you are?
Right.
Like, bro.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You can be, oh, you're so skinny, and everybody's like, but oh, you're so fat, and it's like, well,
how dare you, sir?
Right? Hey, it's all observations.
What do you do? It's all
observations.
That's always a good one to start with when you see a.
Yeah, I used to.
What do you do? I'm not pregnant.
It depends. I would go through phases where my tallness would bug me. I guess especially younger as a kid because I was such a tall kid. And
you have that awkwardness, you're kind of.
Well, it's not even that; it's just the assumptions. I have a hard time with assumptions. Really, one of the not a primary contributing factor, but one of the factors that led me to go into the military is because nobody expected it.
Right.
Nobody it was always, oh,
you play basketball. Because that's
why?
The question I get all the time.
Because I'm tall and I'm black. Like that's racist.
And I did hoop, but that's not the point. But
that's racist.
But it's usually a crack about how's the weather up there.
Yeah.
There's the old do you play basketball, and then of course there's the are your parents tall.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you get all the time. And aside from can you reach that, and I remember being younger and my mom used to yell at me because my friends were shorter as yours. So when I'm walking, I'm kind of hunched because I'm trying to be on their not on their level per se, but
yeah,
I'm leaning down, like we're
stand out so
talking and
much. Yeah.
and I'm straight up, you gonna hunch your back straight. So I used to walk straight, and because I get yelled at, I get in trouble if I was my parents saw me hunching, they're like, stop hunching.
Yeah.
So I mean, so stand up straight, but it was that awkwardness being young and tall, and I had a big spurt because I went from like 5'9" to 6'2" over 9th grade to 10th grade summer. So I had a huge spurt over a summer. And
That's
so
crazy.
it was weird, as you got taller.
Yeah. I remember being 6 foot, over 6 foot in like the 7th grade.
Yeah, you were tall. I remember you were taller than me at one point.
Super lanky. When I graduated boot camp, I was 6'4", 175 pounds. So I was just like
Twigs.
trim, super trim though. Had no body fat on me, but I just looked like like a male olive oil.
And that adds to that awkwardness, you know what I mean? Because you're aware. So you're aware of that, aside from the fact that you're tall. So, and like another thing that I don't know if you had this, but when I was younger, before I became tall, I was always average or shorter than people, but I had big ass feet. So adults used to be like, oh man, look at the size of those feet. You better hurry up and grow into them. I'm sitting there as a kid, like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Now you got a foot complex.
And I've got all these people making fun of me and joking around because I got big feet.
Yeah.
And I recognized I had big feet because my friends were wearing, size 5 and 6 shoes and I had a 10. You know what I'm saying? So I was already aware. Now as a kid, reflecting back as an adult now, but as a kid, that's harmful. That could be very harmful. And I'm sure it contributed to some of the awkwardness I had because, I did have to grow into them feet and it took a minute.
Yeah.
But
I do that.
But at this point now, I'm so comfortable and so used to it, obviously. So I play it to my advantage when I'm doing stuff, and I'm, like I said, I like cracking jokes and making people,
Yeah. I feel like my feet are small for my size. Everybody always thinks that my feet are bigger than they are.
Yeah.
Like
I rock a 15.
Yeah, see, I wear a 12. And I just recently started wearing a 12. I used to wear 11 and a half. I just recently started wearing 12. I've kind of branched into 12 and a half a little bit just because, I'm getting older, so my feet swell now. So I need a little extra room and stuff like that.
Right.
Or maybe I just eat too much sugar and salt.
That's because you didn't hoop, man. If you would have hooped, your feet would have went longer.
Yeah, probably. I'd have a more stable base because I'm definitely clumsy as all out.
So, but yeah, but I guess being tall, like I said, I enjoy it now.
It's a gift and a curse.
I'm not as awkward.
Advantages.
I do say that like the disadvantages is when you go to like amusement parks and things like that. Like, although I can ride rides, it's not quite as
it's a pinch.
Not quite as comfortable as it could be.
The long legs have always been.
Sometimes pulling that bar down and your legs are kind of going up to try to fold in, and it's not always a comfortable fit, man.
The trick I use is to try to, once I get in, is to like cross my ankles over so that I can bring my knees down.
Right.
But then it's an uncomfortable ride.
It's not comfortable. Yeah,
it's
not comfortable.
Airplanes, any type of seat made for the average American.
And don't let it be one of those special rides like the Tron ride or something like that, where you actually get into a certain position and it locks the thing behind your legs, behind your back. Because now you're tall, you're not meant for this, and you're in a weird position. Yeah, it's
Space Mountain. That was another tight one.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
because I like the dark. I'm a low key adrenaline junkie, but.
Yeah, Space Mountain, as fun as that ride is and classic as it is, it's just not comfortable for our size.
It's not.
But I'll still force my way on.
Every now and then, you got to do it just to try to live like the common folk, live like the average Joes.
I feel like they should. You know how they have a lot of rides now? They're making accommodations for wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've seen that, but there's certain rides now at various places where they have like the back car is meant to actually put a wheelchair where they can actually strap the wheelchair and then strap you in and all this other thing. Not giant roller coasters per se, but other certain rides, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, they need to have a tall section, like have one car there's just lots of leg room and then you have a separate line too. So if you're over, the sign, if you can't ride unless you're this tall.
Yeah.
There should be one that if you're over this tall, you come in this line. And you
got that special cab.
Got to start making accommodations, man. Maybe I need to run for office and start passing some of these tall people laws.
Not even that. We just start an industry where we make accommodations for tall people and
It feels like
and left-handed people.
I was gonna say it feels like The Simpsons with Flanders' left-handed store.
Totally.
So we're gonna have to.
I mean, totally get down.
There's already big and tall stores. Don't get me wrong.
As a left-handed person, I notice all the things that aren't made for me, and it's not something that's huge or crazy.
Right.
But like just coffee cups, for example. It's a round cup. There's a handle on it, and there's a design on it, but the way that the design is, it's meant for right-handed people.
Right, because it's usually on the outer side, so people see.
So if you're a left-handed and you got the coffee cup, like you're the one looking at the logo.
Right.
It's like, as a left-hander, I'm bothered by this.
See, I'm a little bit ambidextrous, so
you can go either way.
I notice it. Yeah, I go both ways. but
yeah,
I there's certain things that I do with my right hand, and there's other things I do with my left hand, and sometimes I don't even notice it until somebody points it out.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were right-handed. I am. It's because I consider myself right-handed, but they're like, but you're doing that left-handed. I'm like, oh.
I do some things with my left. That's crazy.
So, but, well, there's one thing I do with both hands.
I don't want to know about that.
And that is I reach stuff. And today I think we I think we reached it, man.
I thought you were going in a whole different direction.
No, I went for the
I'm
corny
kidding.
segue to outro the show. I just figured let's get corny with it.
No, that was good. It's good.
But no, I mean we covered a lot today, man. I mean got some other stuff to take care of, but yeah.
We'll cover that on the next one.
Come back, see us next time, and
see you on the next
episode. We'll be right here on Can You Reach That?
Can You Reach That?
Can You Reach That? Brought to you by 1 Entertainment in Coopersville. Hosted by Tango and Coop. And created and edited by Tim Greenlee and Brandon Adolphus. Music, sound design, and editing by Michael B. That's me. Visual art and graphic design by Jonathan Greenlee. Additional visual design by Timothy Greenlee.